Gar, gar, gar.
That takes us over to Abyss and Rhino as the other major heavyweight program of the month, coming off the back of their final resolution match. Abyss brawls with Rhino at the end of the first Impact of the month. We talked about that in the segment where they're all looking at that contract, and there's some Abyss and Rhino brawling.
It's kind of a wild one, this build.
Yeah, the whole idea is like these are two monsters that are out of control. They can't be contained.
They can't be pinfall counted somewhere. They have to be counted anyway.
Yeah, so that is reinforced on the January 28th Impact, in which Abyss faces Rhino once again. Dave Hebner watches on but does not do anything. Especially because Abyss is wailing on Rhino with the chair at some point, which does not draw a DQ. But then they brawl to the back, they brawl backstage, they set up in front of the backside of the interview set, and then Rhino gores Abyss through it.
It's awesome.
It's a great spot. They even, I love how they set up a camera on the other side, but it makes sense why there is a camera on the other side.
Because that's how they interview people.
Yeah, because Shane Douglas is there. And if you actually watch Shane Douglas, he does actually have to, scurry out of the way. He really gets taken down by the interview set.
It's awesome. It looks
great.
It's
this big, metal sheet, and it crumbles down as Abyss and Rhino go through. The match is declared a no contest. It's a cool-looking spot, and I do love the shot from the other side of the wall as you see them come through. That looks great as well.
It was on the 50 Best TNA Moments DVD that I had growing up.
And a thing I did appreciate, and it's a thing that I think AEW don't do enough of, but the next 2 episodes of Impact, they replayed this. This is a cool spot, a cool moment. Rhino has a match against Kenny King on the February 4th episode. As he's doing his entrance, they replay it there. And then there's the main event of the Go Home show has Abyss and Rhino in it, and they replay it again there. So it's they're driving home this as a cool moment, as opposed to just letting it sit in one week and then disappear.
Yeah, they do that sometimes. They should probably do it more though.
They do reinforce, Takeshita beat Kenny Omega twice in a week. They do say that every week. So they do it sometimes, but it might also be because Takeshita has done literally nothing since he beat Kenny Omega 2 times in a row, but that's neither here nor there.
He beat Darby.
That was a good match.
And he beat Jericho.
That was a less good match.
He's done some things.
Yeah, February 4th, Impact, Rhino versus Kenny King, foreshadowing the 2022 Impact versus Honor No More feud.
Oh god, thanks for that.
You can look forward to these two facing off again in a 10-man tag in the main event of No Surrender 2022.
I will look forward to that occurrence.
After a month of them going back and forward between Man Beast and War Machine, it does appear they have firmly settled on War Machine. He's now introduced as the War Machine Rhino.
Because I'm a War Machine. Taz is pissed.
He just squashes Kenny King with a gore here. And then main event of the Go Home show is once again Monty Brown and Abyss facing Ron Killings and Rhino in the match. In a very important moment in wrestling history, Liam, that featured the debut of Ron Killings' What's Up theme song.
We posted this to Twitter, and it was very interesting to see how many people did not know that this song originated in TNA.
I was thinking about that as Ron Killings as a TNA guy is almost forgotten in general. People think of AJ as a TNA guy, or even Joe as a TNA guy. People don't really think of Ron as a TNA guy.
He just wasn't there during a time period where a lot of younger fans even watched. Ironically, more people watched than ever, but also his biggest stuff was in Asylum era stuff too, so it's not in a particularly well thought of period.
And you could also say he was also in the WWF beforehand. He was K-Quick in the WWF beforehand, so he was a WWE guy before he was a TNA guy.
No one knows him as fucking K-Quick.
No one remembers Getting Rowdy?
No.
Ron was in a Rumble at that point, wasn't he? He was in one of those Rumbles in 2000, I think.
Get Rowdy. Oh, you didn't know?
A terrible tag team. The foreshadowing of Three Life Crew, but a terrible tag team.
That they did for 10 years in TNA.
Yes. I like this main event. It was a star-driven main event. Nothing special, but these guys can hit cool moves in a tag team main that goes 8 minutes. Truth, it's a great dive.
They can, but they didn't, besides the dive.
Yeah, it was a fantastic dive, and Mike Tenay started shouting. It's we have to go to break now, which is the favorite thing Mike Tenay does. I really enjoy it.
You love these kind of, just throw some main eventers in a tag match.
It's my favorite thing, Liam.
It is your bread and
butter. Yeah, you have 4 pay-per-view matches you want to promote in the Go Home show. You book yourself an 8-man tag, and I will fucking love it.
Yeah. In my TEW, my go-to lately has been world title and challenger versus, and paired together with the tag champs and tag challengers.
Can't go wrong with it.
No.
Rhino and Abyss brawl out of the building. Conan distracts Ron, allowing Monty to hit the pants for the win. We will naturally get the Trio K family drama in a little bit.
Of course, in its constant stationary spot.
Closing our show. Pay-per-view, Rhino defeated Abyss in a Falls Count Anywhere match, which was much better than their match last month.
Yes.
You thought about that.
I did just because, like, I was trying to, like, remember the differences. But, like, no, yeah, they got to do way cooler stuff, and Rhino dies a bunch in this, and, like, and because, also, it didn't help that the first pay-per-view match was, like, disappointing. Whereas this one was like, you know, I'm not sure I was like hooting and hollering, you know, 4.5 match of the year thing, but like, you know, they had a better match that was more fun and did some crazier stuff, and it was fun to see Rhino like just charging around through the fucking fans.
Yeah, because this is like full plunder, like full Falls Count Anywhere, as opposed to the last match, which had some plunder because Abyss's matches always do, but it was a quote unquote straight wrestling match for the most part. Whereas here, like, Rhino's bleeding, they're running all over the crowd, they're falling through tables left, right, and center. There's gores through tables. They go backstage at one point, and there's a spot where I think they're meant to break a car window with a baseball bat. So Rhino tried, he hit the car, the window didn't break. Abyss tried, he hit the car, the window didn't break, and they just moved on. And that was like the only spot they did backstage. They brawled backstage to that car to do that, but like what I presume would have been at least a somewhat visually appealing baseball bat breaking a window spot, but it didn't work, so they just brawled back into the building.
Yeah. It's funny when, like, you know, companies that don't have a shit ton of money for these kind of things do this stuff, because you like, they get the shittiest looking car possible, or like something that just doesn't look as, like, WWE can do it, they have all the money in the world, right? They can get any car for a spot like this, but it's just funny when, like, a TNA does it, they're like, who's got some, like, beater that we can get for $300?
Yeah, when Braun Strowman is flipping a truck, he is flipping a truck. Whereas where TNA are doing this, you are right, it is like the smallest, like, shittiest 15-year-old car that they could find that's probably been stripped for parts and has nothing but a window on a door and a frame.
Doesn't run.
It's just still there to this day, sitting in the Universal backlot.
They call it the Abyss and Rhino car. Everyone has to pay respects as they walk in.
It's like a sword in the stone situation. Everyone walks up, they grab the bat, and they try to break the window but fail. And one day, the true ruler of the Empire will break that window, and they will be anointed so.
That would be awesome.
There was also some like wacky floats backstage that I was hoping they would brawl onto, but they mostly ignored them.
They can't afford that.
And Universal would probably get mad.
They would definitely get mad. And deservedly so. But also, it would have been cool.
The highlight of the match was the finish. So they brawl up into the stands. They're like up into like the 10th or 15th row or whatever. And there's like a little section where they could brawl in front of a section of fans. Abyss kicks out the wall at the end of that section and hits Rhino in the head with it, which is very funny.
It's what do they call it in like games where we can just pick up objects in the middle of like fight strings?
I don't know. Is there a word for it?
Just like interactive like objects in the environment. It's like that.
Yeah, so he hits him with the wall, but then Rhino gores him out of the stands to tables that are sitting like 5-10 feet below. It's a 4-stack, so you would think it would break his fall, but it kind of doesn't. He goes flying down, he smashes through the tables. By all accounts, he actually lost consciousness for a while when he hit the floor, so...
Jesus.
You can see, like, if you watch the replay, it's an awesome looking spot because he's gored out of the stands through some tables on the floor below. It looks great, but you can see that like he goes down fast through those tables. It's like, ooh, that was not a pleasant landing.
Never is.
It's the classic because like after the Rhino gets down and pins him, so Rhino wins, and then like they go back to Abyss, and it's like just like Barbed Wire Massacre where he's getting like a standing ovation as he's being helped out by security. It's like that is like Abyss has been babyfaced by just getting his ass kicked better than anybody in this company.
They call this the Mick Foley.
Yeah, it was like people always called it the Benoit as well. The like sad like look to the audience for your standing ovation after you've lost thing. Benoit always did that. But yeah, Abyss is just getting owned in sensational fashion and then they're getting standing ovations for it.
It is the story of Abyss at the moment. It's like beat each other up for 4 weeks on TV, go to the pay-per-view, lose. Unless it's Sabu, then you can win.
Yeah, good match. Much better match than last month. It's not like it wasn't up there with like the best of the Sabu matches in terms of just like sheer chaos and nonsense, but it was a very enjoyable plunder brawl on a show that didn't actually have any other plunder, so it helps that stand out as well.
Yeah.